mute this? Starting. I think. Are we live?
You tell me.
Live. We are live. Hello, Internet.
Hello.
Hello.
We're going to nail it someday and figure out how this all works. All right, so if you are joining us for our rewatch. We are rewatching all of Game of Thrones in anticipation for Season 8, which premieres April 14th. We are the Knights of the Drunk Watch, and this week we are doing Season 2, Episodes 6 through 10. Names?
I'm Andrew.
I'm Kate.
I'm Mark.
We are the Knights of the Drunk Watch.
And now our talk begins.
I'm coming.
This pillow really gets me off today.
Okay, so starting with Episode 6, The Old Gods and the New.
Old Gods and the New. And I always start off every scene where he appears. Fuck Theon.
Oh, Lord. He is so annoying. It is... Wait, no. Why'd you unmute it?
I didn't.
Oh, it's doing like the thing where it's only connected to the...
Okay, let me get my notes. Sorry, I'm trying to start dinner while we do this. Alright, The Old Gods and the New. Waiting for it to wake up.
Okay.
Your thoughts, go.
My thoughts. Well, I just wrote all my notes.
I think you need to move over a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you're like right in front of Andrew. Directly.
Well, Kate's right in front of me.
I can scoot. No, I'm not.
I never slide.
So we start with Theon, and he has, like, he just like wanders in and takes Winterfell.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't actually do anything. He's just like, hey, I'm Theon, also, I'm a fuckhead.
He thinks he accomplished some great victory. He's like, we climbed the walls and everything.
Took it with 20 men.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, he's just like, but what are you going to do? This is the biggest flaw in his plan, is that what are you going to do with Winterfell, with 20 men?
Well, I mean, that's when he's like, get Asha or get Yara to send me 500.
Yeah, to hold it.
To hold it.
Yara.
Like, yeah. I corrected myself.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to, like... Yeah, see, but then... Well, she doesn't show up yet. We're not going there yet, are we? Where are we? Okay. Okay, oh, and then the first thing, he makes the first mistake. Dagmar. Oh my god, I hate that guy so much. More than Theon. It's like Dagmar sitting there saying,
Is that his first mate?
Yes.
Yeah. The guy who keeps whispering in his ear, telling him to do all this stuff. Like, Sir Roderick, who is one of the most respected people at Winterfell, he's like, he talked back to you. You can't allow that. You need to kill him. And it's like, no one understands. I think Rob is the only one in the entire series who understands that prisoners are more valuable alive than they are dead. Once you kill important people, then it's just going to piss everyone off, and they're going to want to see you dead.
No, because it depends on what your goal is. Prisoners are more expensive, or more useful if you want to, like, contact other people.
And trade something.
Yeah, and trade something. If you're trying to get respect from your men, killing is more important.
Well, and also, I think Dagmar, he's just totally fucking with Theon the whole time because he knows Theon isn't Ironborn. He's an Ironborn. And what Ironborn want to do is go in, take whatever they want, and leave.
Yeah.
This whole concept that they're going to hang out at Winterfell.
Right? And what are you going to do there in Winterfell? And really, what are you going to take? There's not much for you to take that you can carry out with 20 men. Mostly at Winterfell, they're storing up food and supplies for winter. They don't have, like, gold and jewels there, really.
It's a fort.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it is. Like, that's its main resource is big fuck-off walls that are warm. Like,
yes. And,
well, the thing is because from Theon having grown up there as a hostage, he sees value in Winterfell from Westeros' point of view. Westeros point
there
of view.
we go.
I'm like, why
what
is
the
this
fuck
not
are you
sounding right? From a Westeros point of view. Whereas from an Ironborn point of view, it doesn't mean anything. It's nothing.
Yeah.
So,
because, like she says later, the Ironborn strength comes from their ships. Which, bit of history trivia on the Ironborn is that, yes, in the height of their power and their reign, they sent ships up the rivers in the Riverlands, and they conquered the Riverlands. But up in the north, it's mostly just frozen tundra. Like, you can't really do anything up there. Anyway.
I just think it, like, just all of the fucking Greyjoys. Like, that whole fucking family is garbage, and I hate them, because they're just all shitty. Like, even when we first meet Yara, and she's like, oh yeah, I'll let you finger me just to see what kind of man you are. It's like, what a terrible thing to do! Jesus! And so from then on, like, everybody in that family is just the worst, and they continue to be the worst until Theon loses his dick. And then, like, spoilers.
Well, that's the thing that down is, only as Reek can he find himself. He basically has to lose everything, including his dick. And my one note on him was, he's not a Stark, he's not a Greyjoy, and considering what he's done since then, is sacrificing his life after he's already run away.
Yeah.
Is that the only way he's going to be able to redeem himself?
But the thing is, and this is also the frustrating thing, and obviously, like, this is why this show is good, because you do get so mad about it. Like, if Theon was, like, as soon as he got to Pike and realized, I can never be one of those people, because he realizes that pretty fucking quickly, because he's like, aren't you proud of me? And his dad's like, you're a girl in necklaces, and you just fucking bought them, like, I hate you. It's like, okay, maybe go back to the people who actually cared about you, like, because the Starks did. Like, they sent him there to be an ambassador, like, and he's continually told, like, you were raised with their children. He was like, I was never a son. You were close enough.
Rob later said he considered him one of his best friends.
He makes the point, though, later. It's like, he wasn't sent there as an ambassador. He was a hostage. Because what they did is...
back to
he
Pike.
went back to Pike.
Rob
Oh, I'm sorry.
sent him
Back
to
to
Pike. Yeah.
Back to Pike, yes.
No, he was not an ambassador.
No, but yeah, and I understand he was a hostage, but, like, in that situation, like, he was treated very well. He was raised side by side.
At least better than Jon Snow was.
He was treated better than the actual blood of Ned Stark. So, like, but just because he's got such a, like, just a little dick pride issue that he had to be like, no, I'm Ironborn through. You fucking aren't. Like,
okay, we'll have more things to say about Theon later.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. What I like about this season is Arya and Tywin in Harrenhal. There's that scene. So Peter Baelish shows up.
Oh my gosh.
And Arya's like trying to serve him wine while like keeping her head down and stuff.
But this is kind of the first time we see Arya. I mean, not the first time because she was hairy, but this is the first time we see her testing her ability to be no one. Of like, let me see, like, and you know, she's not doing it purposefully,
no, I mean,
but
she learns a lot from Tywin about how to see.
But also, she's so innately good at it, and he tells her that, like, you're better at this than you should be, or like,
right. But at the same time, it's not good enough for him.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, because she does a good job of certainly fooling Tywin. I mean, to an extent.
He
knows that she's not who she says she is. He senses that she might be highborn, but obviously has no idea that she is a Stark.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for him to even suspect that she might be. That's why he never. But I question whether Baelish doesn't eventually recognize her. There's like that last look after she walks away, and I'm just thinking.
But then he starts talking about Catelyn and her daughters.
Exactly, because then he, you know, there's like this moment, and then he gets distracted, and then he kind of looks at her again, and then he brings up the daughters. It's like, and you don't even know you have one. I almost felt like, I mean, it could. I
know. I think it could go either way, but I think it was.
Only because he would have no reason to think that if that was her, and he kind of like doesn't say anything, to not expect her to be there when he comes back for her. You know, if he ever did. But
yeah, I just feel like if he knew that it was Arya, he would have gotten to the daughter's point earlier, so that she was definitely in the
right before he said that line.
Yeah.
There's that last look that he gave her. Like she's pouring him wine, he kind of looks at her, but then Tywin talks, so he looks away, like, okay, he got distracted. But there's a look right before he says Catelyn and his daughters. I think, did he decide? Did he know?
I don't think so.
I don't think he figured it. I think he would have done something.
And the reason that I say no is because, like, one, I think he would have recognized her earlier when he was right next to her, and two, although he didn't look directly at her face, but two, like, I think he would have made more of a point to, like, nudge, nudge, wink, wink her from across the room about,
or at least
daughter's
like gone
death.
to find her after he left and stuff. But their conversation now is that this is where Baelish is really working his way kind of up, because he's talking to Tywin about joining forces with the Tyrells,
right?
Which is one of the big game changers in the War of Five Kings.
Yeah.
Then we meet Ygritte.
Oh.
Who must be the prettiest fucking wadling in the entire world.
Because none of the other wadlings are pretty at all.
I cannot get over how ridiculous their chase scenes are, because they both have so much fucking clothing on that they're just like running through, like just like waddling. It just cracked me up because there is zero grace.
But I would say only a true costumer could walk through IKEA and go, throw rug?
Yeah.
Or cloak?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, and that's a big deal that, you know, he's supposed to kill her, but he doesn't kill her. And then the question is, well, number one, is it because she's a woman, or also he's never killed anyone before? But
he hasn't killed anyone yet?
No, not yet. No. The Half Hand is his first kill.
I mean, I think she doesn't deserve to die. He is Ned Stark's son, and he has like such an innate sense of
right,
duty
wrong,
and honor
honorable.
that, like.
So Adi said to drink for Theon, which I did.
Oh yeah.
That was on a delay, but I approved it. And then, because she said fuck Theon, and then she says Mark to Scotch because I can't see Andrew. But I think that might have been before you.
Yeah.
I did scooch. And Audie, are you driving right now?
Probably.
Stop watching
No,
and
I think
typing
she's
while you're
working.
driving.
I don't know.
Okay. Who knows? All right. And then we go back to King's Landing, and this.
So I had a question, and this may be forgetting. No. Going back to King's Landing. So this is when Myrcella's headed off to Dorne, and Cersei has her statement. I'm a little bit confused, and I think this happened in episode 5, but I'm bringing it up now. So Tyrion I know this whole thing happened before. Tyrion had his whole thing of like, I'll tell Baelish, I'll tell Pycelle, I'll tell various different things about where Myrcella is going. And the one who told Cersei was the Pycelle, who said she was going to Dorne. So that's where was the plan, to always send her away somewhere, and he just happened to stick with the place. Like, was he content to
it's a
send her?
coincidence that the one who told is the one who told the real plan.
Yeah, or was he content to send her to either of those, which he couldn't have been.
I think he might have settled on whichever plan she might have gotten told. That's never clarified, but I mean, it does seem like a fairly decent plan. I mean, and the thing is, Cersei is, because of her hatred for Tyrion, she thinks Tyrion is doing it just to piss off Cersei, but in reality, it's like, no, we know there's a siege coming.
Yeah.
So it is best for her to not be here, but also she is a freaking princess.
Yeah.
This is what princesses were born for, was to marry other noble families and make alliances.
And it doesn't work when they come to live with you. They have to go to live with them.
Yeah, so, I mean, I get that she's pissed off as a mother, but also she's just taking it all out on Tyrion. And then the riot in the streets.
Yeah.
Joffrey gets a freaking cow pie thrown in his face. It is one of the most satisfying moments of all.
Well, I made note that if the Lannisters didn't hate each other so much,
yeah, but
they
also
probably would have
like
won by now.
we get to see especially in these 5 episodes, and obviously like the cracks become more and more apparent. But we get to see the cracks in like either the crazy cracks or the child cracks in Joffrey's reign, because he just he goes from getting hit in the face with shit to murder them all,
right?
Like just kill everyone in the street. It's like, bud, the last king who said that got stabbed by your dad. So maybe chill it a bit,
right? Because he's so entitled and he's so impulsive, and he thinks that whatever he says just happens. But it's like, you cannot just stand there and say, all 500 people around me, I want them murdered. And you expect them to just stand there and say, well, you're the king, okay, kill me.
Yeah, no, especially not after they rip a dude's arms off.
They literally ripped a man to shreds.
So, woof.
I mean, and it's true, and they are starving. Like, they're not, because Cersei and Joffrey, they're not doing anything to help the people. Cersei has that line later when they're all like talking about winter is coming or summer has ended. They're like, we have so many stores for like 5 years or any longer. Then Cersei's like, well, then we'll just have less peasants.
Yeah.
So Cersei's like, fuck it, let them starve, let them die. She doesn't care about them.
No, she never does. Yeah, and then we also get the more I rewatch it, the more I'm on board with Audie's plan to ship the Hound and Sansa. Honestly,
he did go and save her.
He goes and saves her
from what would have been a very brutal scene to watch.
And she was very close to rape. Super duper fucking
down.
Close.
They were pulling their thingies
out.
Of
all the shows that we watch or have watched, this is the closest we have actually gotten to a rape cave for Audie. Other than that, it's not usually that. But this was definitely super duper close. But yeah, and he even says, Tyrion thanks him, in a genuine move. He's like, thank you so much for saving her. And the Hound is like, I didn't do it for you.
Yeah.
Oh, and then another one of the best parts is when Tyrion slaps Joffrey in the face again.
Did my hand fall off?
I've just struck a king. It's like, he can't, gosh, he tries so hard to counsel Joffrey, but he just won't have it. But
and we get that later where Cersei is admitting that she has zero control over him.
She's like, last time I tried to control him, he said he'd have me killed. All right, and then we go to Dany. Dany has the scene. She asked the Spice King for ships, which what I liked about this scene, granted, all of her cart scenes are a bit boring, but what I like about it is the way they filmed it by having him and all of his people up on the stairs in that beautiful place. That's probably in Croatia or Spain. That's probably in Croatia. But then they have Dany down at the bottom of the stairs, looking
begging
up like this. And she is literally begging.
Well, and I wrote
and her eyebrow game, must have twice as many eyebrow muscles than everyone else. Because they are just whoosh.
Well, and I wrote down that he was the worst mansplainer ever.
Oh, God.
Who? What?
The Spice King.
Oh.
Mansplaining to the little princess how the world works. Though he did give her plan.
What do you
mean?
mean?
Army,
yeah,
and get allies in the West.
Yeah. And this is where she's starting to realize that. She's doing exactly what her brother did. Her brother was known as the Beggar King, and she's kind of starting to realize that she's not going to be able to rely on anyone. That she's probably going to have to accomplish this by herself. But probably not till later. That
the one moment, because now she's begging him. Before she was threatening, he just goes, "You've got the flair for the drama," because she does. Right? She is making these giant proclamations at any turn she can.
I walked into a fire and I came out with dragons. Actually, something interesting about that is that I was always wondering, back in season 1 when she did walk into the funeral pyre with the dragon eggs, how much was she actually expecting to happen? But then she says right now that she had a dream that she walked into the fire and hatched the eggs.
Right,
so
which we never saw,
but it would have kind of ruined it a bit if we saw it beforehand.
Yeah,
but I did like that little bit of explanation. But okay, so she did have a dream, so she did have an idea of what she was hoping would happen.
The only hint I guess we really had is she knew that she grabbed a red hot egg.
Yeah.
And it didn't burn her.
Yeah.
She knew she would not be burned. And
all right. I want to skip the next Tywin scene because I just don't care. We get Armory Lorch dies, and that kind of starts a big
And what was
upheaval.
his last name?
Lorch.
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 Lorch. Okay, because I wrote that down for one of our trivia questions.
And then we meet Talissa.
Blah blah. We don't need to spend too much time on them right now. Oh, this is where, big part of the story about to be set in motion. When they hear that Winterfell has been caught, Lord Bolton advises Robb, do not return to the north. Let me send my bastard son there to do it.
Do we think this is purely closer, that's fine, or is this Roose positioning?
I think both.
Yeah.
I think both, because yes, you don't now want to take your entire army and just abandon the war you're fighting, which at the same time kind of be but yeah, he doesn't want him to, abandon the war he's fighting and send all his men back south, but then at the same time, yes, that is beneficial for Bolton right now. especially as Bolton is watching the relationship between Rob and Talisa, and kind of maybe like a lot of his men are starting to question Rob's intentions and how much they really want to follow him now that he's.
But yeah, I mean, but I don't know that it's. I mean, I think Roose at this point is backing Robb Stark, and that to win, Robb doesn't need to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Stop it. This is a touchscreen, buddy. You can't touch it.
I mean, I don't think it's like him setting him up for a fall. I think it's like, no, for you to win.
Yeah, I think at this point, he's still siding with Robb and trying to advise him. I think it's not until he actually... Cat! Stop touching my screen. My notes went away. No, I'm here there. Oh, but I think it's not until Robb actually marries the girl that all of his men... Oh, no, and it hasn't happened yet, but later, when he executes Lord Karstark is when all of his men, I think, officially abandon. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah. I mean, the rest is just kind of piddly stuff, I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, do we have to mention that Ygritte goes for a boner?
Yes.
Oh, did you pull a knife on me in the night?
God, I love her. And how just flustered Jon Snow goes. That's not until the next episode.
Yeah. Oh, and Dany's dragons are gone.
Yeah, so that's how it ends, is like there's a whole bunch of
Where
murder.
are my dragons?
She loses it. But yeah, other than that... Oh, and Asha, like, kills it. Like, she's just killing it by taking over and being like, oh, I'll fuck Theon, murderous person.
I don't understand, though, why she did not just kill Theon. She goes out, she easily just, like, kills the guards and whatnot so they can escape. Like, why not just go in there and kill Theon?
If she killed Theon and could take the guards down, there's still 18 men to deal with.
Right, no, but she could
she
could kill Theon and then no one would have known until the morning. And they were already planning to escape anyway, so why not just kill Theon?
Because she left his bed in the middle of the night, and he was still asleep.
That's a good question. Kill him, kill the guards, and then escape.
The guards weren't part of the plan, so...
But she killed one.
Well, yeah, because she had to.
Right, but... Anyway, that's just one of... It doesn't matter. She didn't kill him. She made a mistake, and it's going to come back and bite her in the ass.
Kind of.
Sort of. All right.
Okay, so speaking of that, he just gets... In the next scene, we're now on to the next episode.
Yes. A man without honor.
So, like, pissy about it.
He loses control.
But it's also because, like you couldn't have seen that coming. Like, come on, bud.
Well, but then, like, they make a point. That's why, this is where I wrote down that Theon has to lose everything, including his dick. It's because when he's, like, being all fussy about it, they said, you're the one who's sleeping with her.
Yeah. So, yeah. And, yeah, then the boner scene with Jon.
Yeah. And then, then they have the scene where Tywin calls Arya out. He says, "Milord." He's like, "Milord." Low-born girls say "Milord."
But then she quickly comes up with a Y for, like...
My father taught me how to speak properly.
No, her mother, who was a handmaiden to Lady Dustin.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, her mother did.
And then Tywin talks about his legacy. He knows this will be his last war, and everything he does from now on is all about his legacy.
And this is where I came up with a new idea.
Oh, yes.
So... Because Tywin's going on and on about Aegon the Conqueror, and then Arya says, "Oh, and his sisters. Don't forget his sisters." And we've been going on and on for forever, about who are the three heads of the dragon this time. Three heads of the dragon: Dany, Jon, and Tyrion.
Was the original theory?
Or the original theory. But it occurred to me that, especially when you tie it in with the preview for this last season, that Three Heads of the Dragon was when the Targaryens took over Westeros. Now I think it's going to be the Three Heads of the Wolf.
Yeah.
And so that Arya, Sansa, and Jon, whether they save Westeros or whether they save people and go west of Westeros.
I don't know, though, because then there's that one, which I was watching on the way over here before this last episode. There's the one, like, teaser where it's the map table and it's the fire so, like, if we have to have some fire there.
Well, yeah, there's still
battles.
There's still dragons left.
Two dragons on both sides.
We still have 2 fire dragons.
It is the Song of Ice and Fire, But I think so. But in the end,
You think it's all gonna be
Dany's
ice?
dead.
Oh.
You know, and it's just a question of whether the Night King wins Westeros and the survivors have to go west.
Yeah.
Or whether they somehow do defeat the Night King. But I think it's going to be the 3 Starks in the end.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question. Is there nowhere to leave prisoners?
What do you mean?
It's like Rob is like saddled with all these prisoners. It's like, can't you send them off to somebody's castle? You know?
Well, I don't know. They point out they're like, yeah, our cells are full and whatnot. Oh, and y'all were talking about when Jaime begins his transformation into a so-called better person.
Ain't fucking yet.
It ain't
Super fucking ain't yet, because he gets worse.
He murders his own cousin in an attempt to escape.
And he just gets like, I think it's not until he starts his travels with Brienne that he starts to upswing, because holy shit, he gets worse.
There's just a moment when he kind of, it's just an inkling, not like he's gonna then wake up tomorrow morning and say, I am reborn, but there is just a moment before he just turns back and says, no, I'm a fucker.
But like, yeah, he is definitely, and we see it, and I know we've talked about the Theon Jaime parallel of like them both getting so much shittier before they get better, because Theon and Jaime were kind of okay. They had moments of honor, I guess, before they just like got just the fucking worst. But it's interesting because it's when like Jaime gets out of captivity that he starts to get better, and Theon has to lose he gets into captivity and he doesn't have a choice other than to be a less shitty person. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just saying he started to get better back then. I'm just saying there's a hint that he could be better.
Yeah,
because he kind of realizes, oh yeah, that was a shitty thing to do. But anyway.
All right, so in King's Landing, they now hear that Stannis is approaching King's Landing with 200 ships. Tyrion prepares, and I love, again, one of the best scenes are always with Cersei and Tyrion.
Which, for hating each other so fucking much, they have dinner and drinks a lot.
Yeah. And I feel like, well, come on. You guys are having so much fun right now.
Like, there are a lot of scenes of them just being like, let me fucking tell
together.
you.
Our childhood was hell.
I mean, but it is also because she's Queen Regent, so she kind of pretty much is doing the king's bidding, since the king is too busy torturing cats and whores and stuff to actually rule the country. And then I love that Cersei has a moment where she actually kind of opens up to Tyrion and thinks that she's being... She thinks that she's being punished by the gods for her actions, and then Tyrion has that moment. He walks up to her and he's kind of like, do I like put my hand on your shoulder? He's like, what do I do? And then she just looks at him. He's like, okay, no, I'm not going to touch you. It's like they almost had like an actual moment of just being brother and sister, and him trying to comfort her. And then it's like, nope, this is too awkward.
But I don't know when this happens, but Cersei has a confession that she doesn't even love Jaime. Says the only one you truly love are your children.
Well, that's when she's talking to Sansa.
Right, I know, but she's talking about. I mean, she's giving her. Yeah, she's talking to Sansa. Obviously, she's not gonna confess that to Tyrion. We're seeing her inner self. She's not blowing smoke up Sansa's dress.
I don't think she says that she doesn't love Jaime. What she says to Sansa is, because this is after Sansa says, no, I love Joffrey, and I'm except because she's like, oh yeah, you can have his babies now. This is after she has her period. You can have his babies now.
Oh, that's right.
And Sansa looks devastated, and then she says, oh, like a few months ago you would have you loved that idea, and she's like, no, I love Joffrey, and she was like, love makes you weak. The only people you should love are your children. And other than that, it makes you, like, the more people you love, the weaker you are. So I don't think she says she doesn't love Jaime. I think she just admits that, it's a weakness. Mm-hmm. It's not a weakness to love your children because you have to. And she even says that, like, you will love your children because you're going to be you don't have a choice to love your children. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's a weakness.
I don't know. Okay, well.
Okay. Oh, and then Bran and Rickon are dead. Theon kills them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
well, and I love the look on his face.
Like, he looks shocked.
Well, because I think he told him to do it, but he didn't know
do
what it was
it.
going to look like.
Yeah. And so seeing tiny little burnt bodies, he was like,
which,
oh,
again,
fuck.
also kind of probably, like, totally screws him in the eyes of the Ironborn. It's like, he should have done it himself. Because he's always running around ordering people to do stuff. And so, yeah, when he saw the burnt bodies, he was like, "Oh, that's what I did."
And he's he is such a bad Ironborn person because he keeps expecting respect without doing anything. Like, when he gets to his ship, he's like, "I'm your commander now," and they're all like, "Go fuck yourself." Like, I've been reaming and raping since you were, like, in your father's
that
balls.
would have been the moment to say, "Are you disrespecting me? Let me stab you."
That's what I said. Is that he should have slit that guy's throat.
That's
and then
the moment.
But he's not.
Okay.
He's not Ironborn, and that man did not deserve to die. So he's, there is a lot of Ned and so many people of that honor of I can't just go killing random people.
But we skipped over Jorah's visit to the masked woman.
Oh, that.
But I feel like that was a little bit of a foreshadowing because she is doing magical tattoos on a guy who's going too close to the doom of Lyria.
Yes.
So he needs protection.
Maybe he should have gotten some of them tattoos.
Yeah. But I do like how she says, "Will you betray her again?"
Yes.
Which is why, even though I may never say anything pointed out, I think the idea, because of the way she knows stuff, is very much like Jaqen H'ghar. That I think she is from the House of Black and White.
No, they say she's like Lady Melisandre, where she is a sorceress from Ashai. I looked her up. Her name is Quaithe.
Okay, well, they haven't said anything about that in the show.
No, they don't. They don't say anything about her. But I looked her up because I was like, who the fuck is this lady?
Okay.
And they say basically like she has similar powers to Melisandre, where she is like.
Well, similar powers.
A priestess.
They didn't say she's a red
No,
priestess.
She's not a red priestess.
Because when we first meet her, she says, "I am no one."
Yeah.
So.
But she may have also just meant, "I'm not anyone of importance."
That's true, but
But that phrase
the
has
writer
such.
should have been paying the fuck attention.
But there's another moment, and I don't remember. Oh, maybe it was fucking her. I know there was another moment where someone said, "I am no one," but maybe it could have been her, and I just forgot. Like, I don't know. Okay, are we done with episode 7?
Sure.
All right, great.
The Prince of Winterfell.
Fuck him.
Ah.
Well, this is where Mark and I got a fight earlier. I was like, my first note is, so little happens in this episode.
Well, but I also love that the entire title is just Yara being a bitch. Oh, you're the Prince of Winterfell now. Oh.
No, and then she has on, she said, "Who gave you more trouble, the cripple or the 6-year-old?"
Yeah.
And it's all like, you really expect to earn respect because you murdered 2 children, one of them a cripple?
And he does. He's such a fucking moron that he does. Oh, God, Theon.
See, but also, I think at the end of this episode, they reveal that Bran and Rickon are alive.
Right.
Which I wish they didn't do. Because actually, in the books, because I'm referencing the books, it is the very final chapter of the book. It's not until that very last moment of the book that Bran and Rickon come out of the crypts and you realize they are alive.
And I remember, like, and maybe...
Sorry, hold that thought. Quick time out, because we didn't do it. Spoiler alert, we're discussing everything that might relate to what we're talking about. So if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, please hang up now and try your call again later.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we've done any spoilers, but all of a sudden I realized,
No, talking about Theon losing his dick is...
Oh, well.
Spoiler! Theon's going to be castrated.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember how I felt about watching the show. I remember in the books being devastated that the kids had gotten burnt. Yeah. And I think I'd even read the books after I watched the first season. Mm-hmm. But I just, because it was so prolonged and they talk about it so often.
Yeah, because
that,
then...
every time they bring it up, it was like, God, that is fucking
Because
rough.
word reached Catelyn and Robb, too, that Bran and Rickon were dead. So, they held off long enough that, word spread around the land that they were dead. And then, but it seemed like they didn't even wait an entire episode to be like, they're not really dead. It's like, well, there was no reason really to reveal that so soon.
Well, I guess, just to be nicer to the audience than the books were, I guess.
These writers are not concerned with being nice to the audience.
I don't know if it was important because I didn't really pay that close attention to what he was saying, but there is that scene between Master Luwin and Osha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Bran is overhearing Did that have to be said at that point? Yeah, because obviously Master Lewin knew that there was an escape plan, but he didn't know that they had circled back around yet until he saw her. So, and then he says something about, Bran must never know that those boys were dead, because of what happened. But,
and yet they're like, he's right over there, and it's dead silent in here. But he's not going to hear us if we talk in a whisper.
He's supposed to be asleep, little shit.
Plan. Anyway. Catelyn releases Jaime.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's at the end of the season. We still have, we've skipped over.
I didn't say that was the end of the season. I said we're in this episode.
Yeah, but it's...
In the episode where nothing happens,
yeah,
Catelyn releases Jaime.
I said so little happens. Yeah, she releases him at the very end. We don't even see her release him.
No. We're on episode 8.
Oh, 7.
No, we're done with 7.
No. The Prince of Winterfell.
That's
8.
2.8.
Oh, I labeled it 7. Okay,
Yeah.
yes. I'm on the right episode.
Yeah.
Okay. So then,
we do, and we bring, yes, Catelyn, and this is just, this is one move where it's just Catelyn is desperate. Because she says, 2 of my sons are captured by Theon, 2 of my daughters are captured in King's Landing. I don't know what the fuck to do. Your sons are dead. We can't fix that, but maybe letting Jaime go. But she doesn't explain, I let him go with this big-ass lady who's going to march him straight to King... she doesn't tell them at all what her plan is. Mm-hmm. And, it is treasonous because she did not consult with a king before.
Well, she did because he would have said no.
Yeah.
Well, he was busy off frolicking in the woods with his new girlfriend.
I love it when someone calls him on it. They're like, oh, well, he's gone to the crag to negotiate. They're like, he took that girl with her. That's not what he's doing.
And then back at Harrenhal, there is a moment. So, Arya named Amory Lorch as, because he almost found her out. So she had him killed. And then she walks through, the courtyard or whatever you call that area of Harrenhal, where they are torturing and hanging several people, trying to get information out of who killed him.
Oh, yeah.
And she walks by and she has this moment of looking and being like, oh shit, that's because of me. But anyway, she's off trying to find Jock and Hagar because Tywin is now deciding to leave Harrenhal. But it implies that he's going after Robb. He never says where he's going. And then someone comes out and says, come on, guys, we're leaving. We're going to go kill some wolves. So it implies that Tywin is leading his army to march against Robb. So that's what... And then also, many people questioned, as soon as she realized she had this power of life and death, why did she not just name Tywin Lannister then and there? But I think the reason for that was that she was taking her time to get more information from him. She needed to know, Robb's whereabouts and, what were, the Lannister plans and whatnot. I think she was gathering information rather than just, killing Tywin right away. Because even if she had Tywin killed and she wanted to escape Harrenhal, she had to know where to go.
Well, why didn't she say Joffrey? Why didn't she say... She could say anybody.
That's true. There are many arguments over any of the names that she could have said.
Well, and I felt like during the conversation, I thought she was asking him about... Because she asked him about how... Because I think with Tywin leaving, I think she was asking him how long does it take you to kill someone?
Yeah, because she wanted him
if
dead
she named
now.
him then, he would be gone before he could do anything about it.
Yeah.
And then she got pissed at him and named Jock and Hagar instead.
Which, how brilliant of that was,
And his panic phase.
I know.
He's like,
name me.
well, because he just said, I swear by all of the gods, I will kill whoever you name. Yeah. And then she names him. He's like,
Please
take
no.
it back.
At least he gets to talk her out of it.
Yeah, right. And she manipulated him. She's like, fine, I'm trading a name for a favor. And escapes. Anyway. Tyrion. Let's go back to Tyrion.
Tyrion
and
dinner.
Bronn are planning the siege. Oh, well, yes, I'm about to get to there. Tyrion and Bronn are planning the siege, and I love that. Love having Bronn there because Bronn and Varys, they're like, if we rounded up all the criminals. And he's like, for questioning? And it's like, how smart Bronn is, about the siege. And it's like, well, look, like, the thieves will steal all the food, and then they will hold all the power in the city. So we just rounded up all the known thieves and preventing it.
Did they round them up or kick them out?
I think they put him in, like, jail cells.
Oh, okay.
Is what it sounded like.
It kind of sounded like they kicked him out. But yeah, like, Varys is like, what the fuck did you round up all the thieves? And Bronn was like, because they're going to thieve once we get sieged. Like, what the fuck? He was like, oh.
Right.
Okay. I also I love Tyrion and Bronn. Like, I love their little, like, Bronn is just so shitty, and he's like, I don't want to wear a gold cloak. It's shiny, and it weighs a lot.
Yeah, because, I mean, Tyrion is very book smart, but Bronn is street smart.
Yeah.
Like, he's lived in the world, and... Yeah.
But then we get that moment where, like, Tyrion is reading this random-ass book, and he tries to pronounce the name, and Bronn is like, it's this.
and then I couldn't remember. No, but then Varys comes in and verifies the pronunciation.
Yeah.
Was it what Bronn said?
Yeah, it was significantly closer to what Bronn said.
I love they
than
both
what
had that
Tyrion
look,
said,
and they're like, and it's like, fascinating subject. Too bad so-and-so wasn't that great of a writer. Okay, and then Cersei and Tyrion argue over whether or not Joffrey will be fighting, and she's all like, no, and it's like, come on, like, Joffrey started this frickin' war. He needs to at least be standing out there in front of his troops when they fight his war for him.
And I just love how Cersei just is totally blind to what is needed for her son to be a good king.
Right?
Well, because she is, again, love is weakness. And so instead of being able to tell, like, oh yes, this is a good thing for the realm, it's, Tyrion, you're trying to murder my child whom I love very much.
She thinks, because he sent Tyrion off, he's hoping that Joffrey will be killed in the battle. And it's like, no, Tyrion is trying to save the freaking city. Oh, it's so frustrating. Tyrion is the savior of the city. But she's like, oh no, you're doing this just to spite me. And it's like, Cersei, you are creating this paranoia.
Yeah.
And then, what she does in return is she's like, I found your whore.
Poor Roz.
God.
But also, I did forget until this rewatch that they know each other.
Yeah, they did.
Have, like, not only, like, from him hiring her for Joffrey, but they know each other from Winterfell.
Right. Yeah.
And so, like...
So I think that was the connection that she made.
Which is, why would he send, like... his precious whore to Joffrey. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But Cersei again.
I mean,
Chris...
she probably didn't know which one went to Joffrey.
Most men don't view whores the way Tyrion views Shae.
Yeah.
So.
And, actually, I listened to the commentary by the writers on that, and they said the way Tyrion responds to that is, like, first off, you have to, like, there's that relief that, oh, that's not Shae. But then at the same time, you don't want to let on to Cersei that she got the wrong horse. So he apologizes to her and he's like, I will help you. And then he responds by going to Cersei and threatening her, which is the threat that, spoiler, when Joffrey dies, those are the words that Cersei will hang on to and be convinced that Tyrion murdered Joffrey.
And that, the way that, like, a day will come when she thinks she is safe and happy and her joy will turn to ashes in her mouth and she will know that the debt is paid. Holy fuck, Tyrion.
Fuck,
joy will turn to ashes in your mouth.
God, I'm getting chills. I guess it's so brilliantly written and so brilliantly acted.
But once again, fuck Shae. Like, every one of their scenes together devastates me because I love Tyrion, love Peter Dinklage, and he is so in love with this fucking bitch. Like, every time they're together,
it's like, where were you? I've been waiting all night.
And mesmerized and in love, and she's just gonna be a dick about it.
The only thing that I sort of, I'm not just, I do like how Shae and Sansa's relationship, how Shae is kind of taking care of Sansa.
That's nice.
And stuff. But really, beyond the Tyrion and Shae, whatever. So we have Samwell and the other boys find the dragon glass weapons on the fist.
Right.
Yes.
And you're just like, keep all of them. Take them with you.
Well, and they also, they find a horn.
Yeah, they do.
And they never do come back to that horn. It's like make a big deal about it in the book. It's almost like they thought maybe they might need it later, and they must have abandoned it.
Well, which, I mean, there in the book there were two horns. There was the Horn of Winter, which
That will bring down the wall?
Yeah, there was one horn that could bring down the wall, and there was another horn that could control dragons.
Control the dragons.
Yes.
Oh, right, yeah, no, the Horn of Winter is what Mance Rayder wants.
Allegedly.
The dragon horn is what Theon's uncles go after.
Yeah, but they don't mention any of that in the show, so it's...
But there's a horn that's just there, just in case it shows up again in the last season. We knew where it came from.
And stuff, so they are kind of foreshadowing a lot there that, you know, even when they first got to the Fist of the First Men, they're like, they were here. They were running from something. Like, something came here or something, but...
and also, before we leave this episode, it's also where we see more of Varys and Tyrion's relationship kind of come together, because Varys recognizes him as a super strong player in the game.
Yes. And he says, like Jon Arryn and Ned Stark were good men, but they despise the game. And Tyrion's like, he loves the game and he's good at it. And that's the first time that Varys says, oh, by the way, I heard this rumor that Daenerys is across the sea with dragons.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
pish posh.
No, he says one game at a time.
Yeah.
He's like, we have the siege, and oh my god, another stupid moment of Joffrey. Joffrey's walking around on the walls while they are preparing for a siege. He's like, oh, I hear the Stark people are distracted. Let's send our armies to go attack Winterfell now. It's like, boy.
We also, in this episode, kind of see, like, a little bit of emotion and motivation for Stannis. Because he's talking to Davos about, like, how much he respects Davos for what he's done.
And names him Hand.
And names him Hand in the future. But we also see him, like,
Davos.
start bitching about, like, when, like, Robert became king, he gave Renly storms in. The fuck? Renly wasn't, like, he starts to get a little bitchy about it. And this is the first time we see Stannis have any sort of motivation other than... I guess I'm next in line. If
Robert hadn't done it, maybe we wouldn't be in this position either. Yeah.
Like, so we get to see a
little bit
of.
You can be king, Renly. I've got my place.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Of one, seeing like him and Davos, and like just getting a little bit more emotion and or information about Stannis. Moving on to next episode.
2.9 Blackwater. So can I say, in literature, never trust anyone who says that all the odds favor them and they're the most skilled at whatever needs to happen.
Who says this?
Davos' son.
Oh my god, he is such a fucking idiot. Like the entire time. And what did I say? Because I just kept talking about what an idiot he is. But like, he is such a zealot. Oof, is what I wrote. And then he's a full believer. Yes. Oh, they're ringing for a victory.
Like, we've got all the boats and we've got all the soldiers and we got all
what
the.
What kind of batshit delusions do you have, young man?
Melisandre probably filled his head with stuff. Which, oh, by the way, interesting bit of trivia about the scenes when they're there on the boats. Those are all filmed in a parking lot.
Nice.
They are literally just out on this boat, sitting in the parking lot.
Like in Community.
Yeah. Anyway, so the Battle of Blackwater. Okay, I'm not arguing that there aren't bigger, better, more badass, epic battles in the rest of the series. But the Battle of Blackwater was always just one of my particular favorites. Because, like, I love siege stories and, like...
Well, I think it's the first big battle that we see. Like, the first big one.
Yeah, because this is the first of a couple of episodes where it's one episode stays in one location, focuses on one single battle. And
we also get so many people, like, having different feelings about the same battle in the same day. Because, like, we get... Everyone is like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna step up. Or I know exactly what to do. Oh no, I'm dead now. And then we also get, like, I think there is such an interesting, and I'm jumping way ahead, but when they set off the wildfire, like, I think there is such a big, like, oh shit, that was too easy. We just murdered a lot of people. And I don't think they felt particularly good about it. Like, I think there was a lot, like, I think even Bronn.
Joffrey and the wildfire man.
Oh, yeah, Joffrey starts getting
the pyromancer had a fucking boner. Like, and Joffrey was just pleased because that's fewer people. But like, I think Bronn was kind of like, I've never like
Tyrion too,
and they both recognized the amount of murder that just happened.
Yeah. This is in all of our trivia. This is the moment where one person kills the most people in a single. So I did take time a while back. This is how nerdy I am. Watching every single frame of that scene, trying to count exactly how many ships are in there and how many people are on each ship. And I think it came down to counting. Okay, hold on. Go. I'm trying to do things. It came down to there were about. Because they said Stannis has 200 ships, but not all of the ships were in that. What?
No, keep going. I just have a statement after you finish this one.
Okay. I don't have the numbers written on here. It was, I think there are about 20 ships at least with about 40 people per ship. So there was a minimum of 800 people.
Yeah, but I think it's more than that.
It probably is more than that. But that's the minimum.
Like, Mathis, Davos' son, I think that's his name. Like, when they roll up and... Because we've already had the scene where Joffrey's like, where the fuck are all our boats? Like, what the hell is going on? Where are our boats? And Tyrion's like, chill.
I got a plan.
Chill.
Well,
I have a plan.
I'm working here.
But then Mathis is like, there aren't any boats. We nailed it. Totally surprised him. I'm not suspicious at all. We're killing it. And Davos is like...
Davos is the only one who is like, there is something wrong.
Yeah, we didn't nail it this good. They'd have a boat in the heart. Like, what the fuck? But Mathis is just like...
Yay, we win!
That
was so easy. I love battle.
Jesus.
We sailed right up and they handed the keys to the city over to us. Oh, what an idiot.
Okay, we also, let's see, some of the good moments that I like, or interesting moments. So we see Pycelle and Cersei, and Cersei gets the shade of, or the essence of Nightshade.
Right.
And then the way she dismisses him is just so threatening for no fucking reason.
Be careful on the stairs, Grandmaster. There are so many.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Well, because like she tells it, like 3 lines before that, she's trying to politely say, "Thank you. You may
Goodbye.
Go.
Well,
Be careful on the stairs."
I also kind of felt like, it was kind of like a little toss off to like, we know you're fucking faking. It's just like, oh, you're gonna have so much trouble on those stairs because you can just run down them.
Yeah.
But
she had a backup plan because again, like she spends whole episode telling Sansa like the terrible things that will happen when. Oh my gosh, her little booby breastplate, her little metal corset thing.
So like, there's one scene where she's like, drink, and then the next scene when Cersei is praying and Sansa's like, hey, come here.
Who are you praying? Are you praying for me?
Yeah.
For Joffrey?
Oh, you're perfect.
And the way she talks, she's like, I think some of these women may be in for a bit of a rape.
A bit of a rape.
Just
like,
a bit.
Come on. We also get a moment between Varys and Tyrion where Podrick is dressing Tyrion and they're like, do we trust Podrick? And then like they look and they're like, yeah, we do.
Sure.
But I'm wondering, and I'm so wary to trust Varys ever, but is this a moment of like sincerity with Varys? Because he starts to like...
I think so.
Because I wrote this note not knowing who he actually tells this story to, but I think he makes a point of saying, I will tell you the story of how I got cut when I fully trust you.
Yeah.
And also what he ultimately means by telling the story is that he tells the story of like he knows that Stannis has taken up with the Red Priestess. So it's one of those, he despises Stannis so much because he despises people with magic.
Yeah, and he like...
And that leads back to how he got cut. It was by a sorcerer.
Yeah.
But I really felt like when he said that to Tyrion, it's like, when we're fully, I will tell you that story.
Yeah. Because he's like, we may all be about to die right now. Let's sit down and have a drink or so,
you don't need to be thinking about my balls.
And then we'll worry about it later.
But we do also find out in that scene, we find out about all the tunnels that will save Tyrion later.
Yes.
the tunnels that you can use to escape right now that he doesn't.
Yeah.
Or fill with wildfire.
Yeah, but we did skip over the brothel scene with Braun.
Oh yeah, Braun and the Hound.
And I just wrote a note. It's like, who's that dick with the Hound? I mean, the Hound walks in with this guy behind him.
I thought for a second it was Joffrey.
And the guy's just like, I'm fucking you, fuck you, I'll fuck all of you. I'm drinking a drink with the Hound.
Yeah.
I'm like, who the hell are you?
You're 2 feet shorter, bud. He doesn't make you look stronger. Sorry to break it to you.
But no, actually, I like that scene between Braun and the Hound because, like, they have both seen war. They've both been through a lot. They both killed a lot of people. And also at the same time, it's kind of like they kind of don't fear death or they don't care if they die.
Well, because the Hound says, like, you love singing and drinking and or no, you like singing and fucking and drinking, but you love killing. You're just like me, but smaller.
Yeah, pretty
And then Braun
much.
says, and quicker. Like, so I thought that was cute. I think there are a lot of, like, oddly cute moments in the next scene. There's a cute moment between, like, Braun and Tyrion where they're like, do well, friend. Are we friends? I think we are.
He's like, just because I pay you for your services.
It doesn't lessen it. And he's like, I think it enhances it. It's just such a cute, like, aw, I don't want them to die.
Well, I have 2 final notes, and then if, it messes with anybody else. 2 kind of, I wrote down finally, because it's been a while since I really wrote down what I call a Game of Thrones move. Sansa makes a pretty good play to get Joffrey killed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, yes. Oh,
I mean,
are you going to be in the
work.
Vanguard?
Like,
Yeah.
Of course she'll be in the Vanguard, because my brother, he's so much worse than you.
And he's always fighting
He's
it
only
up.
a faker.
Like, oh, she is just, no fucks are given in that moment. She's just like, well.
Because she's hoping that he will die.
But yeah, she's hoping that he'll be like, yeah, I need to be in the Vanguard because I mean, she's totally talking about gaslighting. She's totally
No, but then Shay predicts it. She says he'll come back. The worst ones always live.
Yes.
Yeah. And then of course we know it by the end that Baelish did get Highgarden and saves the city.
Okay, well wait, we're not there yet.
Okay, well I didn't know how much was left. Those are my last 2 notes. So
Andrew doesn't think a lot happens in this episode.
My other note about this one, my 2 notes that I actually.
A lot happened, like in terms of like what I'm trying to track and watching the whole thing over again.
Okay, well
I guess a lot happens if you never saw it.
Okay. So, the Hound has his moment where, he's out there fighting. It's like, and then it's the fire that does him in.
He is so thoroughly paralyzed by fire. And
I mean, can you blame him? His entire face has been burnt off.
Yeah, no, I get it, but it's just so interesting that, like, for such a strong person, and it's not, like, a talked about weakness. Like, someone, I feel like most people would be like, yeah, if you want to fuck with the Hound.
Yeah, most people don't know how the Hound got his scars.
We heard it. We heard it early on.
When we first met the
Baelish
Mountain.
told Sansa.
Oh, okay.
At the joust.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's playing with the toy.
And because we learned it so early, we forget that most people don't know that story.
Yeah.
But that's his moment where he's just like, fuck this, fuck the king, fuck all of you, I'm gone.
But before that, when they do the wildfire, there is a fascination in his eyes that's more than fear, I feel like, because this is not the fire that he's afraid of.
Right.
He's afraid of fire. And now there's this, like, more powerful, scary, but green fire, and he's kind of like, the fuck is that?
Well, see, and the wildfire burns so hot that, like, the water doesn't douse it.
Yeah.
Like, it talks in the books about people who have the wildfire on them. They jump into the water, but it doesn't go out. They just keep burning.
Also, like, I would watch this again just to time how long that scene is, because I bet it's, like, 2 solid minutes of burning. Like, it is longer than it needs to be because it is utterly terrifying how much carnage there is.
And then you see there's this one shot of, it's just like a shot of showing the deck. And then you just see this, like, spew of fire just going across the deck. It's like,
it's liquid fire.
Yeah,
like
it is literally fire. Okay.
It is fire made. What does the pyromancer say? It's fire made substance or something. Like, oh.
And okay, I want to show this. So when I was rewatching it, then it goes to Stannis right after the explosion, And he's all like, okay, the dwarf has played his trick. We're still storming this castle. And then one of the guys is all like, but sir, the fire will die. Hundreds will die. And Stannis is like, thousands. Now, I just happened to pause it at that moment because I was getting up and doing stuff. And when I happened to pause it was right before he says thousands. Stannis makes this face right here. I took a picture of it. I don't know if you can even see it. But look, he makes his face and he's just like, thousands. He's like, Stannis does not care.
You go to the camera view so we can see.
Oh, yeah.
No, but you can see on the screen.
What? What are you telling me?
Watch the screen to see if your
No, you're way
phone
too
is
far
getting
away
close
from
enough.
it here.
Well,
That's his face.
He
it
makes
looks
his
ridiculous.
face. This is how nonchalant that Stannis. Oh, I think it went away. This is how nonchalant that Stannis is about how many thousands of people are going to die so that he can do his duty. But what I do like about Stannis versus Joffrey is that Stannis wants to take the throne. He goes out there and he tries to take it. Like, he leads the... What do you call it? He leads the march on the wall and is like the first one up there and trying to climb over the wall. And he's like... As opposed to just sending men out there to take it for him.
Well, because that's what Stannis does. He's a warrior. Like,
yes.
He is a fighter.
Kate Richard says Stan is the Manus.
Hey, Kate Richard. Okay, and then they reach the wall, and then Joffrey abandons. He's like, what? My mommy needs me inside? Oh, okay, I have urgent business with my mommy.
Say it was urgent business?
Yeah, the bitch is drunk, and she wants... her son.
You do not die, yeah.
Yeah, and then this is when Tyrion has his most heroic moment, where he's just like, alright, fine, I will lead the attack.
Well, but also, like, you even see him have it of, like Podrick runs up with his helmet and his axe, and he's like, I'll lead the attack. I'll lead the attack! Like, he says it twice, because he's like,
well, and apparently that was
okay,
unscripted. That was unscripted. Peter Dinklage had that moment of, like, he said it to himself, and he's like, and then says it again. It's like, okay, I'll lead it. And then he
makes a badass speech and goes to town. And I also love, like, going back to that other moment with Bronn where he's like, do you know how to use that axe? And Tyrion's like, oh yeah, I chopped wood once. No, I saw Jaime chop wood once. Oh no. But then Bronn's like, I've seen you kill a man with a shield. You'll be great. Like,
But no, I mean, that was so heroic that he did that. And
he got zero fucking credit for turning the tide.
Tywin shows up.
So because I was watching this today at the theater and it was very bright, so I couldn't see shit. But before Tywin showed up, like, they burnt the boat, they were yelling half man, and then someone rode up. Was that Tywin?
No, that was more Stannis' men.
Because that's when he was like, oh shit. And then, like...
Oh, yeah. Because then they come up, and then in the fight, one of the King's Guard came up to him, which I think it's Joffrey who actually gave the order.
I'm sorry, I was ahead. Yeah, that was more Stannis' men.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, more Stannis' men. And then while they're fighting in there, one of the Kingsguard comes up to Tyrion and tries to kill him. Which, granted, like, how hard did he try? Yeah, he swung his sword, but it's like, oh, you nicked my face. Like, how hard is it to take one step forward and slice his head off?
Well, when you got a spear through your head, a spear through your head.
Yeah.
A steer. A whole cow.
Jesus.
Well,
Jesus, Podrick. Overkill.
Yeah, no, but...
well, that's what Podrick does, so...
Good for Podrick. That is when Podrick earns the respect of, well, the audience and Tyrion. But no one else knows about it and no one else cares. And then Cersei's in there about ready to kill her own son.
God. Again, love is weakness. That is going to be Cersei's, like, mantra for the rest of the series.
I mean, but at the same time, it's like, well, it's because Lancel, bitch. He went in there.
Such a little shit.
He got, oh god,
oh my god,
he came in,
terrible.
And he's all like, oh, they're at the wall. The battle is lost. And it's like, dude, the battle's still going on. So he went in there. He told Cersei that the battle was lost. So that's why Cersei is all like,
get my fucking son.
Yeah, because she knew that, she knew what happened to the Targaryen children. And she didn't want that to happen to him, so she's like, all right, if we're going to die, I'm going to poison you, and you're just going to go to sleep. as opposed to being tortured and.
Well, I also love how everyone's in that room. They appear to be locked in with Ill and Pain guarding them.
But then Sansa
Apparently,
just
anyone
busts
can just
out.
leave
Yeah.
Everyone just leaves.
Especially when it's like Ill and Pain is right there, and Shay is like, "You gotta leave, or this dude's gonna kill you." And Sansa makes eye contact. She's like, "No, yeah, I should go," and he's just like.
Okay, bye.
Grumpy face, Ill and Pain, but yeah, she'll just walk out.
Yeah, and
And then the Hound and Sansa.
Yeah,
I don't even know. Like, obviously, he's drunk now too, but he's just like, "I'll take you with me. I'll take you to Winterfell." Like, what is his motivation other than just being chill as hell? Like,
well, I mean, the moment that he says "fuck the king, fuck the Kingsguard," like he gives up everything, and the first place he goes is Sansa's bedroom. Audie would have some
Well, I'm
comments
sure
on
he
that.
never expected to see her, but it was a place no one was.
What was he gonna do? Like go like masturbate on her bed?
no, I think he was just like, well, that's gross.
I mean, what else was he going to do in
Just
there?
be in an empty room.
He knew she had wine.
Yes. But yeah, I am on board because he's just like, I could protect you, I could take you away from here, and he doesn't seem to be saying like. He just keeps doing good things, like, and he does them all begrudgingly. He's like, "Well, I mean,
it's
like,
one of those like, don't tell anyone that I did this."
He's
Well,
like,
because also, I mean, if he makes a run for it and takes Sansa with him and gets her to Winterfell, and if were there anyone to take Sansa in,
he'd be rewarded.
He would be rewarded
Out the fucking wazoo.
Well, because that's why, spoiler alert, he takes Arya later. He's like, I'm gonna get a reward for you.
But like I just feel like the amount of effort to travel a Stark girl versus the reward you could possibly get there's no reward that would make that worth it. Honestly, like in this time and place, you could do a lot of shit for money. That's
Enjoy
not
the Highlander finale, K. Richard.
Outlander, but sure.
Outlander, that's what I meant to say.
There can only be one time traveling sexy Scottish man. Okay.
All right, moving on. Next episode, Valar Morghulis. Tyrion is stripped of all his powers. Tywin receives all credit for saving the city. And then this is where we meet Marjorie.
No, we met her.
Well, we met her, but Marjorie meets Joffrey, and she has her whole, I've come to love you from afar.
She's barely dressed.
And like, can you just this seems so buck wild to me, you can just be like, Loras, you did a great job. What do you want? I know you're betrothed. Can you hit this instead? She's fine. She didn't fuck her husband.
Look, her boobies are hanging out too.
Yeah, like, can you just look how pretty.
I mean, but then also, it does make sense, like, as, from any, like, political point of view, it's like, are we really going to marry her to the daughter of a man?
Oh, and they've already talked about how they have money and food. So, like, obviously this is a good match.
And they need that because,
but my question was, does Marjorie have any idea what she's getting into?
No, that happens next season when they talk with Sansa.
Yes, when we get...
So right now, it's just, all she knows, she's like, you're the king, I want to marry the king so I can be the queen.
And I'm sure she's heard rumors. I'm sure she's not completely clueless. She knows he's a child, but I don't think she knows how vicious he is. But we find that when Lady Olenna is like, tell us everything.
Right.
Oh, and then Peter Baelish becomes Lord of Harrenhal.
Yes.
Good lord. No one wants it. He never even goes to Harrenhal.
I fucking love Harrenhal. Like, that place is impressive, despite the fact that it's melted stone. There's one moment...
And it's full of dead, rotting bodies.
It still looks real cool.
And prisoners.
A few crews could clear that out in 4 weeks. But also Baelish makes a play for Sansa.
Because Sansa thinks she's all like, oh, I'm free. I'm going to get to go home now.
She thinks she got a good get out of jail free card.
And Baelish is like, you are still Joffrey's play toy.
Yeah.
Also, Varys recruits Rosalind as a spy against Littlefinger, something that's going to get her killed. But, and then they're traveling with Jaime, Brienne and Jaime. They have those people that recognize Jaime. And I always thought it was interesting with, like, people in this world, like, how often do the peasants actually ever see their king or queen or whatnot? It's like, oh, how convenient that, I saw you at this one tournament or something, and I totally recognize who you are.
But, I mean, it also kind of makes sense, because you're not going to recognize just anybody, but you're going to recognize, like, the brother, you're going to recognize the Kingslayer, the brother of the queen, the greatest fighter in Westeros, like, all of these things, if you've seen him once, you have ogled him from afar. Like, if you've been in the audience, you've been like, oh, it's him, it's him, it's him. It's like Victor Crumb. Everyone, if you, like, you would recognize him just because you've seen him in a Quidditch game. Like, it's just, like, because you're eyeing him. Like, that's who you have your eye on when you're in those.
They probably have, you know, night trading cards.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then Melisandre. So Stannis is all pouty because he lost, and the Melisandre.
Oh, this is the part I skipped.
Yeah, she still claims that she sees Stannis' victory in the fires.
Yes.
But Stannis never really has a victory. And then this is one of those, like, talking about way, way in the future, is that I always thought that she misinterpreted her visions, and she's not seeing Stannis' victory. She's seeing Jon Snow's victories, and wondering if just she's seeing these visions because it's just leading her down the path to Jon Snow.
Yeah.
No, I think that's all bullshit, because we also, like, I think that, like, your knowledge of the future is shadowing this, because she also switches. That's her excuse, too, of like, oh, I thought it was Stannis, turns out it was you. That's pretty fucking convenient. Like...
Well, I mean, obviously she has power. She's seeing something. How she got it wrong, I don't know. That's my big question. But she does say, to be the warrior of light, you will betray everything you hold dear. You'll betray your men, you'll betray your family, and he does that.
Yeah.
Yep. He does burn his daughter alive.
God.
Spoiler. Oh, that scene. So I can't. I've never rewatched that scene a second time. I fast forwarded through that every single time I watch it.
Brings me to the question: is what does Stannis see in the fire? Because he clearly is seeing something.
Yeah, for a man who never really believed in it, he saw something, but we don't know yet. Oh, and then Arya and Jaqen gives her the coin and tells her the Valar Morghulis. And she has that moment right there. He's like, do you want to come with me? Come with me to Bravos and learn how to be a faceless man. And and it's so frustrating that she doesn't. But the thing is, she is still attached to her family.
Because she still has family to be attached to.
Yes. And it's not until she loses all of her family.
Because in her mind, she loses everyone but Sansa.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Rob and Catelyn are dead. Bran and Rickon are dead. Like, everyone is dead except for Sansa. And
but
Sansa...
even by then, no one knows where Sansa is.
Oh, is that when Sansa goes with?
Yeah, but and then even then,
when she gets on the boat, Sansa has been taken by.
So it would make sense that she's still like, I have to find my family.
Yeah, so she cannot become no one until like all of her family is dead. So because she is still attached to her family, she will spend 2 more seasons just roaming Westeros.
Which, and we're gonna talk about it again, but we do get that amazing scene where they go to the Vale. And they're like, oh no, your mom just left. And she just busts out laughing.
Okay,
your aunt just left.
Yes. The House of the Undying. Let's talk about that. We haven't talked about Dany.
They're not going there because Catelyn's there. What?
I said, alright, let's talk about House of the Undying.
I mean,
okay.
What was the whole point?
The whole point is, like, truth is, there was not much for Dany to do this season. And even in the books, no one stole her dragons. They added that into the show to give her some sort of conflict.
Yeah, I think this whole, like, the whole Karth thing is just, like, we have to do something with Dany, so let's, like, build this conflict for her.
It's about her, it's
her gaining strength and
yeah, like, waiting for the dragons
confidence.
to grow a little bit. And it's waiting for her to kind of learn that she's not the beggar queen, that if she wants something, she's going to have to do it on her own, by herself. Can we talk about the image that she sees of the Iron Throne?
So I know we've talked about this and gone back and forth. Is it Snow or is it Ash?
I think that's Snow.
It's purposefully
vague.
Vague.
Because, like, when it's on her fingers, it doesn't melt.
Right.
Which if it was, but then it balls up in her hair like Snow would. So it is purposefully vague. I think that's good.
And because the next scene, of course, she goes north of the wall, so...
But, also, the ceiling is destroyed in the throne room, which I think signifies that the only thing that could have done that is dragons.
Right.
Or wildfire.
And she reaches up to the throne, but she doesn't quite touch it. Now, since this is one of the only, like, flash forwards that we have, I mean, we can analyze this for forever. But if we're talking about the very final end, then I think Audie, like, had a big theory that no one is going to sit on the Iron Throne. Because clearly no one was, and I think it's definitely not going to be Dany who sits on the Iron Throne.
And it's still Joffrey's throne room.
Yeah.
Yes, because of the decorations within the throne room, and had little torches around the posts. So we know that happens after Joffrey is king.
You also talk about this as like temptations for her to stay, because that's what he's trying to get her to do, is stay forever and raise her dragons and be. Mm-hmm. And so he gives her the throne. She doesn't even touch it. He gives her Drogo. She touches.
Hello,
she
Crystal.
gets almost convinced, but then says, she reminds herself, no, because I know that he's not coming back until sun sets in the east.
Right.
And, you know.
And she changes the prophecy.
What'd she say?
Because it's only one line, and I don't know if it's just laziness or maybe they realize whatever how if it relates to anything they have to change it. Mary Mazduri said, "When the seas go dry," and she said, "When the rivers run dry."
Okay.
So I mean, metaphorically, how much different? Other than you're trying to create a metaphor out of that, like sun rises in the west is John. In my opinion, that's what I'm saying. And so then, you know, what is going to represent the rivers running dry?
But also, it's easier for rivers to run dry than seas to run dry. Like,
yes,
you know, that's.
But obviously, the prophecies are going just like Bran's dream. The prophecy's not going to have
a literal meaning when the sea comes and takes over Winterfell. Yeah, I like how quickly Asha catches on. She's like, no, I'm like, when Bran is like, why are you kneeling to him? She's like, your dream came true, little lord.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit. Like, wait a minute.
I didn't even think of it that way. But then, okay, so and one of the things I want to do during our rewatches is track the growth of the dragons. So now, this is the first time that the dragons realize that they can use fire as a weapon. And
so we were talking about this because what's his name? What's the
Pyat
Pri says that my magic came back when the dragons appeared. Mm-hmm. And my magic is stronger with your dragons, and your dragons are stronger with you, which is why he wants her to stay, because she knows that too, you know, like they have a connection. So I imagine that he doesn't even realize how powerful they are since she hasn't been around. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then they can just like, I think in that moment they realize, because they're like, oh yeah, I know how to burn meat, burn it, spit fire on it. All right,
first he has a little fireball.
Yeah, he just spits. No, first he just just coughs a little bit of smoke. Yeah, and then he's like, I can do better. Too. And he spits a fireball, and then all three of them are like, let's go, and just fire throwers.
And this is also the very first time that Dany really like connects and like syncs up with her dragons. One of the things that will happen throughout the series is that the dragons sense when she is in danger. Mm-hmm. So like as soon as they chained her, the dragons they all went quiet. And then they all turn and look up at her in unison, and they're like, something's wrong. Like, no one messes with our mama.
And then also, like, if they were pure wild animals, she would have caught fire, too. Like, they wouldn't have been able to be like, let's not burn her. Like, they would have just, Dracarys, let's burn shit.
I mean, yeah, like, sure, she is immune to fire, but maybe, like, at least, like, her dress would have tried.
They're on either side of her, burning Pyat Pri around her, but they don't catch her on fire because they're aware that this is Mom. We don't want burn Mom.
Yeah, they're not going, woo!
Yeah.
I'm burning fire!
No, they're like, that asshole needs to die. It is very focused.
Like, they know exactly what is the threat.
Some quick notes from me, just the things that I observed. Because this is, you know, before we get to this part. Theon doesn't run, but Reek does. You know, because Theon doesn't...
Does he?
I didn't see this part.
No. Theon says, we're going to go out there, we're all going to die.
Oh, gosh, he gives that speech. He's like, ah! And then they
knock
him over the head.
Whereas later, when he's Reek back as Theon, but he's still really Reek, and he's like, his sister gets captured, he runs like nobody's business. Gone.
And Winterfell is burned to the ground. Well, not
about
really.
With Rob and what's her face,
Alyssa.
It's like, you know, after everything that has gone on in this episode, and him making the decision to marry her, why did they ever trust the phrase again? I mean, like, she's like, you will piss them off royally. He's like, okay. And yet, then it's like,
we will
did
discuss.
you not see the royal wedding, the red wedding coming? I mean, come on.
We'll discuss that next season when he makes the plans to ask.
In 2 weeks.
To ask Walder Frey for a favor.
Yeah.
And then we also see John kill Corrin Halfhand, thus kind of
Yes.
earning the trust of them, and then he's about to go meet the wildlings.
Right.
We can discuss that
And
more later.
just gives Ygritte the biggest lady boner. Like, she is just like, oh hey,
She's like, oh.
Yeah.
you murdered a crow. Let's go.
She's like,
and
is it
question-
warmer in here?
Question, 'cause, I mean, it'll come up again just because we all talk about Dany has a series of betrayals that are supposed to come true. Does Dorea's betrayal count as one of those three?
Doré.
The one who was in bed with Zaro.
Who's in bed with Zara Zahan?
Daxos.
No, I think their betrayal kind of counts as one. Because, Jorah is the other one.
I mean, yeah.
It's, one betrays her for gold, one betrays her for love, one betrays her for blood. So, the witch woman betrayed her for blood, and then Zaro, Zog's dog, blah, 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 betrays her for gold, and then Jorah betrays her for blood.
I thought
Love.
Jorah portrayed her for gold. He was the first betrayal. Because he was being paid.
It was for love. I don't know, but Jorah is one of those. Yeah.
Alright, what else?
And
Okay.
it ends with the Walker army.
Oof. Another one where, like, like, this show is so good because I keep watching shit and I just keep, like, getting like, I should, like, obviously there's Big Walker army. We've seen a lot of fucking shit, but that's intense and scary.
That's the first
Even
time we see, like, a whole army
the
of
3
them.
horns, because we, like, a few episodes, like 10 to 5 episodes ago, Sam's like, oh yeah, and 3 horns. They're like, nerd, what? He's like, three horns is wildlings. They're like, what are you
And they're
talking
like,
about?
but there have not been
walkers.
There have not been 3 blasts
For
on the horn for
1,000
1,000
They
years.
discuss that when Corrin Halfhand comes back.
Yeah, so he's like, and they're like, you're a big old, what are you talking, like, you're just ridiculous talking about 3 blasts. And then so they're like,
Someone
1,
did do 3.
yeah, Ranger, 2, oh no, it's wildlings, 3, and they all are just like,
Just like,
fuck,
run!
yeah, run!
And then there was a lot of debate, like, whenever that first aired, about exactly what they saw, what Samwell saw, and we can analyze it more when we watch the following episode, was that the way it is edited together, you see Sam hiding behind the rock. And
That
then
is such garbage
he
editing.
turns, he looks up, and then it shows a shot of the White turning his head and looking down. And then the way the camera moves, it looks like he's walking forward. But
when
it
pan out,
pulls out, you see,
horse
well,
isn't moving.
the horse is not moving at all, and the White is actually behind the rock. So, like, the rock is here, he's there, so, like, he doesn't see Samwell at all.
I can't imagine that's tricking us that, oh, he never saw Sam. I think he
because
just
that
didn't
is
care.
like, that is such, for a
It's-
show that is so good at sound and every fucking thing else, for them to fuck that up that bad,
I
that
wouldn't
badly,
say it was a fuck
are
up.
you kidding me?
It's not
like,
a fuck up.
I don't understand how you show people looking at each other more than one looking up and one looking down when you know they're right next to each other.
Maybe he just turned and he looked at the walker
No,
next
I think
to him.
the Walker was looking at him and he didn't
and he
matter.
just didn't give a shit.
He
Like,
didn't give a shit.
no, because if it was any other way, then that is such a colossal fuck up on the editor.
But also, it was the season
Or
finale.
a choice
It was
of the editor. A bad choice of the editing.
it was
No, they didn't care about Sam.
I don't
they
think
were
that-
trying
yeah.
I don't
to.
think they care about
It was the
He's
last
like,
image
yeah,
of the
yeah,
season
we're
finale,
going
and
up
they were
there.
trying to go out with a bang.
I
So
don't think they cared.
Yeah, but I think it's a
I mean, they do,
significantly.
and well, they
it
do
is-
have a habit of leaving someone behind.
It is a
So
significantly bigger bang to have this Walker look and be like,
you're the one I'm leaving behind.
whatever,
But they
like
left the
make
other guy
eye
behind.
contact, as opposed to him just happening to be looking like at another dude and being like, we're still going? Yeah, okay, let's
we're
go.
walking,
Yeah,
like,
alright.
because we all just kind of randomly stopped for
Yeah.
no reason.
No.
But yeah, we forget that they do leave someone behind at the moment. So,
Yeah.
like they did at the beginning of the show. All right, so that's it.
We
so
did
much
it.
for my theory that we'd get through this quicker.
I told you.
Well, we were one person short. Yeah.
He said, "Well, because we're one person short,
We did it
and nothing
in-
happened in this season."
In an hour and 26
I didn't say nothing
minutes.
happens in this season.
Okay.
Audie
So 2
said nothing
episodes, I
happens
didn't
in
write a
this
bunch
season.
Of notes. So I didn't have a
We're
lot
not
to say
talking
for
about
2
what that,
episodes.
how much
Yeah.
that the
Audie
we gotta
said
go.
that
We gotta go.
Okay.
We're not going to talk shit about what we did well and then add another 10 minutes.
We didn't do anything well. We're the
Alright.
the drunk one.
Come back.
Now our chat has ended.
Come back next week, and we will discuss the first 5 episodes of season 3.
or 10 minutes we'll shit. Watch
Yes,
time.
or in 10
Which-
or 30.
You said 8.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
hey,
said
that's
8.
fine.
Yeah, at
Yeah,
8 o'clock
calm
we'll be
down.
watching
Not
Rent.
gonna rush.
Don't listen to what I say. Do what I do.
Yeah.
All right, farewell. Adios.
Bye.
Who wants tacos?
Now our talk has ended. I guess we're done.
Bye.
Bye.